and there's another character named Isedwa Chuwant.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking. Hi, everybody. We're talking about how Beastie Boys and Star Wars are two great tastes that go great together. We're the Pocket Dimension. Welcome. Hello, everyone.
Who are we?
Welcome to the Pocket Dimension. It's a live talk show style adventure where we talk about tabletop role-playing games. My name is Matt.
I'm Fitz.
I'm Evan. We're just chatting.
We're just chatting. We're
you
just chatting.
Giving me one of these?
I don't even know. These are my antlers. These are my new tiefling. Whatever,
loser.
tieflings. It's good to be back, my friends.
Gonna touch you.
Hey, where the hell's Allison?
I know, but where's Allison?
She's late. Again.
I was
not
feeling
late.
spicy about y'all telling me to go to karaoke and then
Yeah.
not showing up. And so
Yeah.
I told her that we were going to meet her at karaoke, knowing we weren't going to show up.
She's just got a drink in her hand at 12:30 in the afternoon,
Yes.
drunk.
Yes.
She's
at
got
the
a drink in
karaoke
one hand
place.
and a lobster in the other.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the drink?
That's actually very possible.
Oh, dark and stormy.
Dark and stormy and a
And a
live
lobster.
lobster.
Yes.
Our friend
Lick it.
Allison is in Maine, her beloved Maine, celebrating her birthday. So happy birthday, sweet Allison. We were lucky to almost celebrate with you in person, and now we're wishing you birthday from afar.
Yes, we did have a castle birthday too for Evan the weekend before AK's birthday. Because
Yes.
logic.
Yeah.
So good.
And we do what we
So
want.
good. So good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so you're stuck with just the three of us today, right? Hello, everybody. We've got Jax. Jax. We've got Tabletop Phoenix. Side note, I had an amazing one shot the other day, like on a nearly personal one shot with Tabletop Phoenix and Cozy Cassie. It
Just
was
the three
so
of you
much
guys?
fun. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What were you
I
doing?
know.
When was this? What happened?
It was
Where was
kind
I?
of a makeup session. It was kind of a makeup thing for his beautiful campaign that he's been running, and but I have missed a few due to illness or.
Right. Yeah. You've
being
had a
me.
rough summer.
I did. I had a rough June, but it's all
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah. It's all uphill from here.
It's all uphill from here.
We're running
Anyway,
up
Good or
that
bad?
I see Mike, Mr. Mike, and Passport, and we have Digital Twisted.
Oh,
wait a
And
Wait a
we
minute.
have
Speaking of
Seth.
Tabletop Phoenix, is that what you were going to segue there, Evan?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, never
but
mind.
please do.
Good. Do it.
But sorry. Hey, everybody. How's it going? First of all. Second of all, next week, announcement session.
Yeah.
Section here, right at the top. We're going to be doing a DC 20 one shot with Tabletop Phoenix and
Oh,
Glenn
yeah.
And glad.
for it's called The Longest Day, right?
Yeah, so it's this. It's an Alzheimer's awareness. Alzheimer's.
Benefits Alzheimer's Association.
Association. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And it's a nonprofit, and so we're going to try to raise some money for them, and that's something very near and dear to our hearts.
It is.
Evan's and mine, at least. And so we are super psyched. And so we're going to be doing that, as you were probably saying, Fitz, we're going to be doing that instead of this regularly scheduled program. So we'll be seeing y'all next Friday at the
3 p.m. Eastern?
3 Eastern, right.
3 Eastern,
2 Central.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know. We'll
We'll let
remind
you
you at the end of the stream here, too, for any newcomers.
But it's DC 20. And
DC
it's
20.
run by a pro DC 20-er. Glenn has been running games far, far more than us, and I cannot wait.
0.8? Are we doing 0.8?
I hope so.
Oh.
0.8.
Yeah. Wow. 0.9?
Yeah.
1.1?
Do I need to bust out guns again next week?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely an
guns?
option. Yes, it is an option. We have thought perhaps guns is coming back.
I'd do it. I'd eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd do
10
it.
out of 10. I'd eat it.
10 out of 10, don't you?
Anywho, though, we're not
understand?
talking about DC-20 today, though,
That's
are
true.
we?
We're not.
Well,
We're not.
we kind of always are indirectly, but not today's focus is different. Yes.
We will use it. We can use it as a comparison and a contrast.
Always.
to what we
Okay.
are
Okay.
about today.
Yeah. I've played a ranger in DC-20.
You have.
That
You
makes me an
have.
expert.
You have. You have.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about, are we not? The hotly contested, the controversial D&D 5e 2024 Ranger, which is basically, according to the powers that be at WotC, aka Jeremy Crawford, it's an entirely new class. It's not a revamp of a class. It's totally new. Wait a second. Jax wants us to talk about the difference between Rangers and Power Rangers.
Absolutely. Very
There is
easy,
no
Jax. There is no difference. Yeah, just think about a ranger being a Power Ranger in the past. Fantasy past.
Okay, wait. I do know the difference. Power Rangers are capable of doing things.
Oh,
ouch! Okay, shots fired. Let's go.
Oh, hell. And so it begins.
Oh, wow.
First of all, let's qualify that all three of us have played Rangers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think different subclasses, but we've all played at least one Ranger.
Yeah.
5e, and with the Tasha's Cauldron of everything, I've done regular 5e, and then I've done two Rangers that had Tasha's options. Evan, you've done DC-20, and then what, Gloomstalker?
I think, I can't remember if I did a Gloomstalker. I think I did a Beast Master for a campaign that you ran that we'd never finished, an Exandria campaign. And then another Ranger for with a one shot that our good friend Alejandro Tay ran. And yet I'm glad you brought this up, because I did want to say right off the jump that as I was doing research for this subject matter, the first thing that popped into my mind, I watched the D&D Wizards Ranger explanation video. I watched Trent Monk's reaction video to the same video. So I essentially watched that thing twice in a row. And what I really, really realized is that diving into like this game mechanics part of D&D is not at all why I play D&D. This is no surprise, right? I've said this before probably, but I don't know. Like when I'm building a character, I don't really know what comes from Tasha's. I don't know what's unearthed Arcana. I'm not paying attention. And for all of these reasons, I'm really, really not qualified to talk about this whatsoever. Like, it's just not why I play tabletop role-playing games. I come for like meaningful, fun story interactions, and the game mechanics. The only time where it really affects me is when I'm playing the game and it's in combat, and there's a moment of friction where I'm like, wait a minute, what? I only have one attack, or I have to do this on my. I can't do that as a bonus action. That's stupid. Right.
So you run into these issues just out in the field doing your thing. You're not.
Yes.
You come in no preconceived notions. You just run into that friction organically.
And honestly, this is like truly, a parable for my life. It's like I don't stop to read the instructions. I don't figure it out. I just jump in both feet first and just, okay, I'm going to figure it out as I go. That's how I learn. And for better or for worse, I don't recommend it to anyone, but it's just how I live my life.
Well, can I say something to that? I honestly think, Biv, that you are definitely not alone. I would say that there's a lot of people in our chat right this minute that feel the exact same way. And
yeah,
I kind of feel the same way.
Thank God.
What?
I'm not alone.
You're not alone. But because what is a ranger, honestly? Like, why were you interested in playing a ranger? You love the books, the Drizzt series. You love the Drizzt series. And
Homeboy is a ranger, for those who don't know.
Homie is a ranger. And yeah, what is a ranger? A ranger, they make a big deal in the D&D video. Crawford says, a ranger ranges.
Yeah, they
ranges range across the world. And so you're talking about
what you will.
You're talking about Homie in Lord of the Rings.
Aragorn.
Aragorn. In Lord of the Rings, you're talking about. I mean, there's lots of
Vexalia.
Vexalia, and then you're talking about. I don't know, various ninjas, probably. I don't know.
They're probably more monk-like.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Fun fact: Drizzt later, probably like level 20, multi-classes as a monk. So enjoy that when you finally get to book 80,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about overpowered. Anyways, so knowing that I'm not really qualified to talk about any of this, I did do my research, and I do have opinions of my own to a certain degree, but mostly opinions from other people that I've compiled.
Okay, so you're just going to be the mouthpiece for the internet, the other internet.
Okay, yeah. I'm the internet shill. That's
okay,
me.
great.
Amazing. Amy says ninjas, not like Texas Rangers. Yeah, but to be honest, I was incorrect, Amy. I think it is actually much more like Texas Rangers. I think Rangers. You can absolutely think Texas Ranger. I think so. I mean, that's the point.
Sure.
Just somebody who travels, a marshal, right? So there's a lot of cowboy marshal rangers. That's the type. Not really necessarily a political figure, just someone who kind of goes in. People.
It's someone with they observe no government or law.
The equalizer.
They're above the government, right? They just kind of fix things. See you later, ma'am. You know, that kind of thing.
The equalizer, what you're talking about.
Yeah, the equalizer, sure. I think he's a ranger.
Well.
Yeah.
Is he?
Chickadee, I don't know. Chuck Norris, though. Anyways, please.
Here's a question that I have for you guys, because something that I know that everyone probably knows about rangers is that despite it being in the name, it doesn't necessarily mean that you carry a ranged weapon, although they typically are the character in a D&D party that is the archer. And when I play a ranger, I almost always want to be a ranged character. And when I'm playing video games, I especially love to be the ranged character, so I'm not in the thick of combat where I'm getting my ass kicked. Yeah. But like Jeremy Crawford was saying, it has nothing to do with, because rangers can also be melee combatants. And as you said, like they range around, they roam. The whole the intrinsic piece of being a ranger is that you know the land, whatever land that might be, whether it's a city or the countryside or the ocean. I guess an underwater ranger.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, if
you get a swim speed at some point, so why not?
Yeah. So anyway, but I find that despite knowing that, I still confuse. I associate bows and arrows with rangers so much.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else feels that way.
Oh yeah. You confuse it.
Well, that a ranger has to be a ranged character.
Definitely not.
Okay. I see.
Well, I know that they don't, but I wonder how many people actually play them as ranged versus melee combatants. Is what I'm really trying to get at. And we don't know. I'll go ask ChatGPT.
No, let's actually ask. Let's ask our chat and other people. I'm asking the internet like a it's 1999 or something. But I have heard examples in the world, and there are some really good ones. Some people say that you could think even of Batman for example, as a ranger, in that
he knows the city super well.
He knows the city,
right?
and he's above the law and that kind of thing. But I know y'all
where's this above the law part you're talking about?
I just think of well, here's why I say it. They're not paladins have a cause. They have like a hardcore cause. I'm talking about martial characters. They have a really specific cause. Fighters they can be by hire. They're kind of like everything else. Monks have their own specific thing. Rangers, to me, I would say Robin Hood. Sarah, I would say Robin Hood. Rangers, Hood, to me,
classic.
They just kind of they work for themselves. Usually, it feels like they are on their own thing. Take from the rich, give to the poor.
My definition of a ranger.
Let's go.
And that's a survivalist.
Okay, yeah, Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls.
Totally. No, I mean, like, I'm joking, but not. Yes. He totally is a ranger.
I think you're 100%.
Yeah, it's just a survivalist, and that's why they're above the law, because they live in the land, they do their thing.
Crocodile Dundee.
They've killed before, they're going to kill again. Yes.
Okay, I'm definitely going to roll up Crocodile Dundee for this DC 20.
He's got to be a ranger. He's got to be.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin. That's
Steve Irwin,
thanks, Nemo.
Yeah.
I was thinking about
R.I.P. Steve.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get over that.
So. I know.
I'm sorry. But both of his kids are doing great.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that both of his kids were dead.
No, they're both great. Amazing. Anyways,
they got killed by rangers. Okay. Well,
no. Yes.
We're dancing around the topic. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So
you're right. Well, they said that it's a brand new class. I don't know that it's a brand new class. I think it still has the same basic flavor, a lot of the same basic elements. They've just taken those elements back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Real quick, do we need to kind of give a short history of the class since 2014? Because it was such a dramatic 2014. The new 5e came out, and people were like, "That's the worst class, ever." And then and then some supplemental books. Tasha's came out.
Tasha's boosted it like
up.
Yeah, I mean, and one interesting thing that they said that I was like, okay, that totally checks out. That makes the most sense to me. Is at the top of the video, they said that Ranger is one of the most played classes, but in satisfaction surveys, it has consistently been ranked low. So it's been played a lot, and people are mad about it.
So basically, people are saying, "I can't quit you, Ranger."
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying.
Just can't quit you.
Yeah.
It's true.
That was fascinating. And so I wonder, is it kind of like that, like, ugh, this milk is spoiled, so I'll put it back in the fridge and see if it's good tomorrow?
Maybe.
Is it like that? Like, maybe tomorrow this Ranger will be fun to play.
Yeah. I also wonder how much of that is maybe newer players being enticed by it and then being like, oh, this actually isn't great, versus veteran players playing something else and then just being like, I can't quit you, or I know you're bad, but I want you anyways. Because I know, like, when I was building my very first D&D character, it was between Ranger and Druid for me. And I talked to my cousin Christopher, who was the DM, and he was like, don't do Ranger. It's functionally useless. Druid is a hard class to start with, but you're going to be more satisfied.
Yeah.
So I picked Druid.
Okay.
But Ranger seemed so enticing when I read it in the book.
It really does. It's it's one of the sexiest classes, I think, in concept, because of that. I mean, everybody's thinking about Aragorn's luscious, greasy,
lovely locks. All right, brother. So keep going on that history of the range.
Yes.
Okay, so 2014 it comes out, and Fitz is right. Everyone said, don't play it. Don't play a Ranger. They you start first level and you are just nerfed pretty much your entire game. And they weren't wrong. They really were not wrong. It had some serious just weaknesses. And so it didn't have all the cool fighting mechanics as a fighter or even a paladin or a monk or anything. It really didn't have
situational feats.
Yeah, it didn't have situational feats. It was just
a lot of their feats were situational.
Unless you were going to be in a campaign that specifically was advertised as being a survivalist one, where you're going to be going over land and tracking and having to get unless you're doing a survivalist campaign,
right?
You're useless.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Your favorite enemy is dragons. Well, only zombies in this game.
Yeah. Welcome to Barovia.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Tasha's came out, and that was how many years ago now? Four,
I think it was 2020, right?
Yeah, not too long ago. So, and everybody was very excited because they kind of took that concept that you just mentioned, Biv, where the ranger is mostly Aragorn in a forest, right? So if you're not in a forest, then you're kind of messed. So they would say, what about the rangers that are kind of from the dark Shadowfell? What about the rangers that have a relationship with the Feywild? What about the rangers that do this and that? And so they kind of tried to create some other options that filled in those blanks with the ranger, not just a hunter with a bow and arrow. Or the other one that has always been popular and on the stronger side is the one that travels with a faithful beast, be it a panther or
beast
or a wolf or something. And if I love
Snow.
animals,
as Seth just said,
I think Jon Snow. So there's
I mean,
they gave us the ability to kind of build the Jon Snows, the Wolverines, even John Wick, I would say, like characters like that. But it's still depended so much on a concept of hunting and doing more damage on one specific thing, right? I don't know that what we've heard so far in 2024, they've necessarily fixed that. Right. But they have spent a lot of time making the ranger, beefing the ranger up first level, lower levels, giving them spells right out of the gate, giving them just ways to survive. But
before we start, because I see you're starting to segue into the 2024 Ranger. But before we do that, I do have a list of gripes here that people just kind of universally had about the 2014 Ranger.
Go for it.
So first of all, favorite enemy and natural explorer feats. Yeah. Those are the situational ones that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
The impact of those was that they didn't provide consistent value, right? That I don't,
it was so
like we said about dragons.
So
very
situational.
Specific. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Spell casting, you don't get anything at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I didn't care about that. In fact, I wanted less spells, but that's just me. Whatever. DC 20 Ranger, no spells. Shout out.
No, I was gonna say you're DC 20 if you want a fully martial ranger. That's the game, but otherwise
that's the game.
D&D is still sticking with the half caster class.
And you know what? You've always had issues with that, Biv. You have always wanted your rangers to at least have an option to have a non-magical ranger.
And the way that you do that is you just play a fighter who specializes in a ranged weapon, or you pick feats that kind of support. Not that rangers have to use a ranged weapon, but you could just do that with a fighter, which I would like to do that. But watching Jeremy Crawford speak on the D&D Wizards, on this video, it just hadn't really occurred to me that why rangers were a hybrid class, and that they're basically a martial druid,
right?
And I hadn't thought about it like that. Mm-hmm. So now I can't play rangers anymore. Okay, what else? So another gripe was just the lack of unique identity. Yeah, it just felt like a blend of a fighter and a druid, but you don't really get, the best of both.
Yeah.
Limited combat effectiveness. That was my biggest gripe in playing. It was like, pew! Oh, one attack.
Yeah.
And 2 points of damage. Cool. See you next round.
Let me use my action to have my animal go do something.
Yes.
That's a very sucky. Yeah, that was very broken.
Yeah. You also I learned very quickly that you got to be very careful what animal you chose in the 2014 version.
Yeah, don't choose the mouse.
Well, don't choose a mouse. They have no hit points. And I learned that cows can't go downstairs. So Tasha's fixed that for me.
You had a cow?
I did. His name was
Highland.
Angus. I had a Highland coo whose name was Angus.
I remember the Highland coo.
All right. I mean,
so at least Tasha's fixed that. But you had to be very specific about what animal you had, and then they would die immediately. You had to use your action to command them, and then they always died. So
okay. So this is probably a good segue to get into some improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, brother. Since I interrupted you.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
Thank you for doing that. Well, first and foremost, they fixed the you can command your animal as an action.
Beastmaster
thing. You can, as a Beastmaster, if you have a faithful steed, you can now take your attack, be it ranged or melee or anything that you want, and then as a bonus action, your animal can, your cow can chew an enemy to death, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chew gum an enemy to death.
Yeah, they can gum your enemy to death. And at higher levels, when you cast spells on yourself, it affects your animal companion too.
Which is amazing.
Very cool.
So if you heal yourself, it heals your animal.
Yeah.
Which I'm like.
And
you cast spells through them as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't catch that. Nice.
Yeah.
And they, at a certain level, they also benefit from your hunter's mark as well.
Yes. I did
which is
see
also
that
pretty
as well.
sick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now,
I think
hunter's
it was
mark,
like a 30-foot range. As long as they're within your
Right, 30
range,
feet of
but
you.
still 30. I wouldn't want my baby to go more than 30 feet from me.
I know.
Yeah, come
I know.
on.
It's like, the golden compass up in here. We don't get that far.
Exactly.
Yeah. Never.
Never.
Now, hunter's mark. Do we want to go there? Because that's like one of the spiciest.
Yeah.
That's like the thing.
Everyone is so, it's just hard. And I'm going to go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I don't have to.
People are big mad about the hunter's mark.
They're super mad about this. In the chat room, our friend Graham, Digital Twisted, has already said there is a fix to blank, and that is to homebrew something. So out of the gate, we should probably say what we're about to speak about can definitely be fixed in your home game. If you want to allow very tiny changes to what they're proposing, then the Ranger is actually pretty cool. However, a massive thing that's making everybody furious is this new Hunter's Mark. And Hunter's Mark is a spell that basically allows you to say, I'm a cure you, right? and so it's like, I'm going to kill you right there. And then it's like this focus on that one person. You can do extra damage. You can learn things about them. You can kind of guess how strong they
That's
are.
new.
What they do. Yeah. And so it's neat. And then you can threaten them on a bonus action, which is nice. And then if they die, you can flip that to somebody else. That is somebody else, by the way. Flip it to somebody else. And that's nice. But the problem in the game now is that it needs concentration. And the concentration game mechanic in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is basically you have to focus on that target. You have to focus on that spell. You have to focus on the thing that you're concentrating. If somebody comes up and pushes you down on the ground, you have to roll a die to see whether or not you lose your concentration, which is very frustrating because that immediately weakens. And all of that's fine. You could just say, hey man, I'm not going to use Hunter's Mark. No problem.
Right.
But everything that they've put forward so far, it seems like 90% of all the Rangers' abilities are focused on Hunter's Mark.
Yeah.
So it's just like a Hunter's Mark world.
And the complaint there is that, especially at higher levels, you're kind of, if Hunter's Mark is your thing, well, first of all, they tried to just make it intrinsic to the Ranger's identity, right? That's part of the gameplay is this thing, and it really is kind of like a rogue's sneak attack, right?
Yeah.
Except a rogue doesn't need to cast a spell. Now, in the 2014 version, you had to spend a spell slot, right, to cast Hunter's Mark. Now you don't need to.
Right.
It's just, and you can do it as a bonus action, which you could before. I would always forget to cast Hunter's Mark before I'd attack someone.
That's the thing.
Always. And
that's not going to change.
I will say one really cool thing about Tales of the Valiant that when we play tested, I played a Ranger then as well. And when you attack someone, it's auto casted. You auto cast Hunter's Mark. And I thought, bless your hearts.
Oh, that is nice.
That is effing awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So I think everyone should homebrew that. Excuse me. Anyway. So apparently the big beef is that at higher levels where you have other concentration spells that you want to do, and you can you're basically kind of driven. And, if you're trying to interact with your animal in a way that requires concentration, anyway, it just feels like you're left with not a lot of options, and it feels kind of broke.
Plus, I mean, it wasn't until I watched D&D Shorts, because I usually like his hot takes on things.
Me too.
But,
I saw that one.
It wasn't until I watched that I realized, they really have wrapped up Hunter's Mark as sort of a keystone feature of the Ranger. My beef when I was listening to it was, it's not until 13th level that your Hunter's Mark starts to get better. And how many campaigns even get to 13th level? I feel like most people peter out between 8 and 10, maybe, if you're lucky. So
I don't
why
like
are
higher
those
levels? I don't like high level.
And I mean, and you go from a D6 for levels 1 through 19, and then your capstone feature at level 20 is a D10. Why couldn't we have introduced a D8 a little bit lower, and then a D10, and then maybe a D12? So that you're kind of getting these upgrades naturally. So like maybe at level 5 you get a D8, maybe So why is that your level 20 thing? I mean, druids apparently live forever at level 20, but Rangers are just like, I get a bigger dice, for my Hunter's Mark if I cast it. Like, it's kind of lame.
Right. Live forever, or
they also get a bigger dick.
They also get a bigger dick. That is true.
No matter the gender.
But no matter what gender, if you want a bigger dick, you may have it. But so if Hunter's Mark is so wrapped up in your identity as a Ranger, why do you have to wait until level 13 to start to get any improvements on it? And those improvements are fine, but you could get them sooner, and then that way maybe you can use the higher level concentration spells that are technically better than Hunter's Mark as a higher level Ranger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also love D&D Shorts, and I also saw that video, and I know that anybody who's watched that one in our chat, we're regurgitating a lot of what he says, but that's the way the internet works. But I will say another thing that I truly started to think about when he said it is that this game 2024 had to come out this year. So there are some things that he said that he feels, including the Ranger, could just simply be half-baked. That doesn't mean that they won't be fixed.
Right.
In 2 months? How many months do we have for the Player's Handbook?
September.
A few months. Oh, it's not even coming out at Gen Con. That's right.
But I would assume that they have to be locked in.
They have to be locked in
now.
for printing.
They printing them books right now.
Yeah. So he's like, if they just given it one more play test, one more, and I get it. I know Seth says the Ranger is always half baked, and it is.
And if they knew that it was half baked in 2014, why didn't they make that class priority 1?
Yeah,
for this
especially like you said, since it's despite it itself, it's very popular.
Yeah. It
is strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. I have to say, watching the Wizards video though, I was excited because there are, the Gloomstalker. Apparently, they've depowered that one a little bit because it was a little bit,
yeah. But it still sounds so cool.
The Fey Wanderer, which is not necessarily new, sounds really cool. The Hunter, even like the least magical one, like despite all of this stuff, I still thought it sounded pretty rad. I would play it.
Oh yeah.
If I were Chef Reactions, I'd say at least 8 out of 10. I'd try it.
I mean, because some of the boosts are pretty great. Like that's the thing is it's half baked because the pro con list, it's deep on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I mean, even with Hunter's Mark, you don't have to expend spell slots anymore. Yep. You can cast it for free a couple number of times. How they didn't specify what that.
Yeah, per long rest.
They didn't say how many, but you get it for free a couple times a day, and I don't know. It did get. I mean, it does get improvements eventually, so that's
you
nice.
Get weapon mastery.
You get weapon mastery.
Right.
That's pretty sick.
You get more spells.
I think that weapon mastery is going to both save a lot of the weaknesses, like rescue a lot of the weaker classes, and also make combat last 4 or 5 hours longer. But
maybe
not.
They say it's supposed to be simple, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm excited to try that out.
Me too. Me too. I think
that's the thing I wanna test to see, because it was one of the things that ended up being really complicated and hard to track with DC 20, at least for me, anyways, personally. That I'm wondering. I'm curious to try the D&D 2024 and just see how that feels in practice as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now I don't remember. So one other thing about Hunter's Mark was that it's now been changed to force damage as opposed to whatever it was before.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and the boon of that is that force damage is much harder to resist.
Yeah. Not a lot of things resist force. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, what does that mean? Like, so it's otherwise, old Hunter's Mark was doing piercing damage. And if you're a barbarian, are barbarians, when they're raging, can they resist force damage?
No. There's not a lot of stuff that can resist force damage, which is why like spiritual weapon is great for a cleric, just to have it running around on the battlefield while they're doing their thing, and it's just pow, putting off some force damage. Pow. Not a lot of things are immune or can reduce that. So
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's kind of a big deal.
That is kind of a big deal. Yeah. It's a couple points, but it's better than having it halved like the rest of your attack.
Right.
Yeah.
I do agree. Getting a D8 upgrade between, levels 1 and 19.
Like just have it match the Bard Inspiration die tiers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the concentration piece.
Okay.
And that. I mean, is there a realm, because we did during Council Birthday 2, we did a lot of unsuccessful homebrewing experimentation. Spent a lot of time talking about gaming, maybe more time talking about it than actually playing the games.
It's called fun. Look it up.
So damn sick. I fully had fun and enjoyed it and would not change a second of it at all. So let's talk about this now. A little while ago, I was saying that the Hunter's Mark is a little bit like Rogue's sneak attack, right? It's like your special thing that only you get to do, only you get that thing. Now, Rogues can sneak attack whenever they want, as long as the conditions are right.
Right.
I mean, could you rejigger Hunter's Mark to meet certain conditions to be able to use it and not have to worry about concentration?
Well, just make it so that they don't have to concentrate. Just say you.
But then I mean, a rogue can't just, because if a rogue could do that with sneak attack, they'd do it all day long.
But they still need advantage,
yeah.
right?
They have to create. Yeah, they have to put themselves in a scenario where they make advantage for themselves.
I think the only barrier is the concentration, because as Fitz said, you can't concentrate on two different things. So you have to use your hyper focus on this one thing that, you know, arguably gets weaker as you get, or, you know, becomes the main focus of every cool thing that you can do. Yeah.
It's like Hex.
Yeah. Tell me, basically. I don't play Warlocks, Kova. Hook me up with the knowledge.
Like Hex or
Hex is very similar to Hunter's Mark. You get a little bit of a boost for damage. You also, the thing with Hex that's nice is, although it rarely comes into play, but when it does come into play, it's great, is that you're giving whoever you hex disadvantage on some sort of check. Not an ability saving throw, which would be great, but it's, you have disadvantage on dexterity checks. Oh, well, we're on a battlefield with a bunch of ledges and caverns and whatever, so if they're going to be making some sort of dexterity check to move around, then now they're at disadvantage. So that's the nice thing about Hex. But the thing with both of them that's similar is that it's not a spell that the target can resist. You're expending your spell slot, you're marking them, you're hexing them, you're just saying, boom, it's on you. And that's that.
Right.
And so, yeah, Nemo, totally right here. It's not that Hunter's Mark is concentration. Totally agree. It's especially at higher levels when you want to do other cool things that require concentration.
Much better said.
And you're just kind of railroaded.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm asking you guys is, it's not that you couldn't just drop concentration. So in the same way that you couldn't just give a rogue the scenario where they could have sneak attack whenever they want it, right? They have to meet the conditions to get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another scenario that's not concentration based, a homebrew scenario where a ranger must meet certain conditions to get Hunter's Mark, right? Like you have to have advantage on someone, and now I've got Hunter's Mark on that person, which is the same thing as sneak attack.
And then no concentration. That's kind of fun.
I mean,
That's
maybe.
Kind of fun. Yeah.
Maybe you could skin it sort of the same way as Rage, where like you have to attack the same target, or that target has to have hit you in order to keep it marked or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to make it, because the whole point is that you're picking one person and or one creature or one monster or whatever, and you're focusing everything on them.
Yeah.
So it'd have to probably be involved in that kind of a mechanic, but I don't know. Could be similar to Rage, but the conditions have to be met with that person instead of you.
Phoenix is now leaving the room. I was just about to ask him how Hunter's Mark works in DC 20 because I can't remember. So we'll have to go and look that up.
See, brain cell deficient, I agree with you here. This is the thing about how it's hard to compare sneak attack a bit to Hunter's Mark, because sneak attack you're getting more dice to add to the roll if you've met those conditions. The thing about Hunter's Mark is that it's 1d6, but once you've put it on that person, you can do it consistently.
Right.
And I don't know,
which a rogue cannot do necessarily.
Which a rogue can't do. And Brain Cell, you're saying that it's not enough to feel like you need concentration for.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it needs concentration or not. I'm on the fence about it, because there should be a cost to it in order to add it. Because otherwise, why? The same argument with the rogue sneak attack that we had like crazy the other weekend is, well, if I didn't have to meet these conditions, then I would just use it every round all the time. The whole point is the strategy around it. So how can a strategy be applied to Hunter's Mark in lieu of concentration? Like there's got to be some sort of cost to it.
This is the pocket dimension. We are trying to solve the world's problems about Rangers. Okay.
Yes, but this is a really good point. Again, it was made by Shorts. Is that we can fix it. We can put our collective brains together, and we will. Our team will. Our community will. We have the best community on Discord. They are, we love to think about these things all day, all night. But it's the second you start talking about it, it's homebrew. The second then it's not. You're not. I mean, and does that matter? No, not to me. It doesn't matter at all. Some people, though, really like, I'm going to play DC-20. I'm playing Daggerheart right now. I'm playing D&D. So it is a little disappointing to out of the gate, based on what the creators of the game are saying are going to be the rules as written. It's a little disappointing that we immediately say, "Ooh, but that just doesn't work. We can homebrew it." Like, that's just why. I saw this amazing Mike Shea video, and his about the demodularization of 5e, where the 2014 edition had all these alternate rules, and then things like drinking a potion as a bonus action were home game rules. And in D&D, in Wizards making those kinds of things official, for the rules lawyers, whether you like a rules lawyer or not, they're just doing what they love to do, which is be hardcore into the rules. And I don't want to knock them either. I mean, this becomes your Bible, and you want to follow it. So you don't get the chance, you don't get the choice to make it a bonus action anymore. It just is. That is the rule now. And a lot of these things in 2024 are kind of going away. And I'm not saying they're wrong or bad, because I think our group is finding this new world of we're building our own game, period. Not literally. I don't think we're ever going to do that. But like, we are taking the beauty. Well, I will never say never, but I hope not.
It's like a tinkerer's dream.
But I hope not.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I can't imagine the joy and horror that would be.
We would never see Matt ever again.
No.
He would just be tinkering.
We'd have to go, the amount of times that we would have to do wellness checks. Just like.
Yes, it's true.
But what we are doing is we're falling in love with these other games, these DC-20s, these Daggerhearts, these 5es, these everything. And we're saying, what is the best system for this campaign? What is the best system for this mood, for this group of players? And then if you really love your players and you have a group that plays every week without fail, then you can really start playing. You can take those rules and try to fit them into the mishmash, the Frankenstein fantasy RPG.
Yeah. I do want to. I want to highlight something that Ryoka41 said, though, because I think this speaks to something that we forget about or often don't talk about, because we have the privilege of having a home game that meets frequently, and we all have very similar. Obviously, we have preferences. Some of us like combat, some of us hate combat. Some of us like to be a little bit more rules light, some of us like to be a little bit crunchy. But we all
hates combat.
The DM hates combat. That's sorry. I was trying to be kind and not point anybody out. But AK loves combat and you hate combat.
It's really hard. 5e combat. It's very difficult.
But we do tend to jive with the same thing. We tend to speak the same language, and we tend to be flexible with making sure that we're playing a game that all of us can enjoy.
We talk
for the most part. We have that conversation. Now, the thing about these players' handbooks of any game, whether it's 5e, Call of Cthulhu, Daggerheart, whatever, if you're playing in an infrequent group, if you're playing in public, if you're playing a one shot with some friends, or if it's a new game, things like that, what you have to remember is the rules exist as a social contract.
Yeah.
You're showing up to the table and everybody understands how you're going to participate in this game together.
It's a language.
The rules exist as a language that you all can speak together. So if people start breaking that social contract to say, I'm going to drink this potion as a bonus action, when the 2014 Player's Handbook says do it as an action, suddenly you're breaking those rules, and it can get uncomfortable unless you've had that discussion. So it's important to remember that the reason we get so frustrated about things like the ranger being half-baked is that there are going to be people who are going to not have as much fun because they're sitting at tables where the rules have to be observed for whether it's a safety tool or that's just the joy of the majority of the people at the table.
Yep.
So we're speaking for those folks.
Yeah.
Well said.
Preach.
That was good.
Come on.
Good.
All right. Now,
whereas we have the privilege of just being like, well, we're going to do what we want.
Whatever.
Yeah. F you, DM. I'm going to fight.
After 4 years. No, I mean, after a long ass time, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I've been very clear. I want to love it. I want to get to a point where, and that's why we keep trying, right? Like, you know, if I just hated it and we didn't ever work on it, then I would be like, yeah, I don't want to play 5e ever. But that's not true, because there's some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things that I don't want to lose. So yeah.
All right. Now, a little while ago, I was asking Tabletop about how Hunter's Mark works in DC-20, and he has schooled us. So first of all, you get advantage on awareness and survival checks made to find the target. That's cool. Martial attack against your target on your turn has advantage and ignores PDR. Terrible with acronyms.
That's
like
physical. PDR is physical damage reduction.
Physical damage reduction. Yeah.
Look at you with that knowledge.
I
Okay,
remember.
next up.
I know it's been a minute since I have been reviewing stuff, but I remember some of this.
Yes. Then you get heavy or critical hit against the target. You automatically grant a D when you get a heavy or critical hit against the target. You automatically grant a D8 help die to the next attack made against that target. So that's cool, because your Hunter's Mark then helps somebody else.
Yeah, I do like that.
That is pretty fresh. And then was there anything else? And then it costs 1 action point and 1 stamina point to focus the mark within 15 spaces.
So, and I know you get your stamina back. I mean, I hope I'm not lying, but at some point you got your stamina back when you hit a marked creature. Like you spent stamina to get Hunter's Mark going, but then you also regained stamina with Hunter's Mark. But to get it started, it has a medium level cost, I would say.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to point out that earlier, sorry, speaking of cost for Hunter's Mark, if we're going to have that conversation real quick, was it the True Cox?
Let's get real.
What's their... Yeah, the True Cox. First of all, a lot of your comments are speaking to my heart. Let me just put that out there.
Which one? I'll try to put it out.
Come on. Which one?
It was a while back, but they said that why don't we just make it take back the Hunter's Mark being free certain amount of days. You still have to use a spell slot, but it's not a concentration spell. And I was like, that feels like a better balance. So something like that, right? Where like it costs more to up it, but you don't have concentration, so you can do other things.
You want to join our game, the True Cox?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
But not to rehash other things, but I mean, also, and to put an addendum on my rant, John T said, in the same vein, that's why it's important that the rules like potions becoming a bonus action are important. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't understand why people are like, these have been homebrew rules since 2014 came out. Why are you mad that it's codified now? Be happy.
Right.
We're all speaking the same language now.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's the part that makes me feel like it's the same thing of like, oh, my favorite band got popular and now that's not cool. You know,
Yes.
it's like now that they're sellouts. Oh,
yeah, they're
you made my homebrew feature part of the game, so now I can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, even worse. Man. Actually, even more specifically, it's your favorite band has had an acoustic version that you have grown to love before they recorded it.
Right.
And then they went into the studio and they made it electric. They made an electric version.
Yeah.
And it's
the demo
electric.
So much better, man.
Too much. Better. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I love that homebrew. I think we've always had potions as bonus. I don't mind that it is. I've never understood why.
I didn't know that it wasn't.
Exactly. Most people don't.
And in Baldur's Gate 3, it totally is a bonus action.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and they said that some of the stuff they came from Baldur's Gate 3, and because it was...
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't remember if it was that one in particular. It might have been something I saw, like a spell or... Shoot, which one was it? Somebody's going to come for me, but... I remember Jeremy Crawford it was Produce Flame, the cantrip. He was like, it's so stupid to try to use. I got so mad doing it in Baldur's Gate that we fixed it.
Okay, I don't know, me and casters, I don't know Produce Flame. School me.
No,
what's the issue?
It's so, it takes a lot of resources, man. It's stupid. They're fixing it. That's the point.
Oh,
anyway.
But okay. I wanted to know why, but you won't tell me. It's okay. I'll just go cry about it.
I'm sorry. Look,
I'll ask GPT, man. I'll ask GPT.
Flame. Google. Give us more. I don't want to miss.
Let me Google that for you.
Look, I misspoke about some Druid stuff last week, and now I'm feeling self-conscious. So.
Oh, come on.
Let's see. Let's see.
Cloud of Daggers is the same. Apparently, John T. Public. Is Cloud of Daggers the same? Was also similarly broken.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, because I've tried taking Cloud of Daggers. I was like, because again, reading things versus actually using them. Ranger looks great on the page. You go to play it and you're like, Cloud of Daggers is one of those spells where you're like, oh, this is sick as hell. And then I tried it once, but we were in a stairway. This was our first campaign, and things got really bad, and I hurt other characters, and I was like, this is not good. So I never used it again. I believe I hurt Matt's character with Cloud of Daggers.
Oh,
and
that's
I
right.
still feel bad about it. So
I liked it. I'm sure I liked it though.
Keeps you up at night.
Yeah,
it does. It keeps Cloud of Daggers keeps me up at night, man.
Remember that time?
I almost killed you. Can I do a very quick detour real quick?
It.
Kind of like on this channel. I'm going to say Jubilral. With all the new systems like DC-20, MCDM, Daggerheart, why do you think that there isn't much of a spotlight on already existing systems? Shadowrun, Mage, I'll add 13th Age, I'll add a bunch of them, really. Decades of old systems, precious versions of current systems to explore. And this is really interesting because you are definitely not alone in this reaction, and I have been feeling it. I've been hearing it myself as well. My excuse is Evan and I, my brother over there, if you don't know, we played when we were little, and then we left D&D for a long while, and then we played in the pandemic, and then it became the overarching force in our life. So that's our excuse, is that we missed a ton of these games. GURPS and Fate and all of these things. Beautiful
all of the
games.
other games that we played, nobody knows anymore. Gamma World, Top Secret, Marvel Superheroes. They were all so good, man.
Yeah, they were amazing.
And they didn't necessarily stand the test of time the way these others have. But yeah, we missed
a lot of. So that's our excuse. But I absolutely hear you. And it's simply that we're playing catch up, and in that process of catch up, we're in an age, the internet age. I don't know if you know that we're in the internet age, where we get the algorithm is going to get you, and we're hearing everything about MCDM and DC-20 and because the new is new. But I want to say, my point of saying this is that, Jubilral, that I would love for our channel to take have a whole section where we go into the past a little bit. And when I say past, I mean these games are still going. 13 Age just finished a Kickstarter for their second edition. And 13 Age was built by 2 or 3 of the people that actually designed 3rd edition and 4th edition. So it's basically Dungeons and Dragons with their own post spin on it. And they only made $350,000 on their Kickstarter. They funded it, but then you see DC-20, and I'm not knocking Alan, of course. I'm psyched. DC-20 is like 2.3 million, right? I think that is partly due to 13th Age marketing, to be perfectly honest. I think that Alan is a marketing mastermind. I think that Matt Colville puts out a video every week. I think that Daggerheart is, designed by the largest actual play in history. So, you've got the attention of these people. Yeah. But I don't want those games to be lost either. Yeah. And so I would like to suggest to my team that we take some deep dives in these older games. I already own some of them. The Shadow Lord Demon.
Shadowrun?
I don't own Shadowrun, but something of the Shadow Lord, Demon Lord. Shadow of the Demon Lord. There it is.
Okay.
These games
don't get the Shadow of the Demon Lord on you.
Have provided people. Please don't get. That's so nasty. That stuff. It just takes forever to get.
Like
you have to take a bath with like tomato sauce.
Scrub it off.
It's horrible. But no, I mean these games have been out for a long ass time, and they have hardcore fans, and they have provided people hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, Dungeon Crawl Classics. We have not played it yet as a team. I loved playing that at GaryCon when we did. I loved that game. Yeah. So that's what I suggest is that we take their advice and we say, hey, let's put a spotlight on this game too.
Yeah.
As we're doing DC-20 and 5e.5 and Daggerheart, and because don't we want to play more?
Yeah, I mean, to answer the original question, which is, or a statement, my thoughts on that is it's a very simple answer. It's marketing, and people are going to run to what's new and shiny in front of their face. It's that
new
simple.
hotness.
Yeah. And because what is getting airtime is going to have people's attention, and then they're going to be curious and they're going to want to explore it. It's simple as that. And it's not that these games are necessarily better or worse than the older ones, like GURPS or whatever. It's just that people aren't saying, here's this hot new game. Yeah. Play GURPS. Like no one is
and out there. Do GURPS or 13th Age, do they Coach didn't start out to building a game. He started out giving advice on how to make your 5e game better.
He had a community
books about that. Yeah, he has a very strong community. So does NCDM, Run DMC, even larger community. So they have these platforms, and of course, Critical Role, the largest community, and a huge megaphone to promote their stuff. And so they earned the right to make a ton of money on these systems, and certainly put in the sweat equity to do so. So, and I don't know, I've never heard of 13th Age.
Yeah.
13th
I know.
Age
a lot of people haven't. There's so many. Yeah.
Apologies for that. So I don't know. Do they also have a channel? Do they also have success, but they just kind of fumbled the ball somewhere else, or it's just they're game designers, and so without that community, it's going to be an uphill battle. Right.
They have lots of fans,
$350K for your Kickstarter's not nothing.
Look, I am not in any way knocking that. But 13th Age as a company, and I don't know anything about it. That's not even the name of the company. I can find it in a minute, but
37 Signals.
37 Signals, ironically, puts out 13th Age. They do not have their own YouTube channel that I can find immediately. And if they do have one, it's so buried in the algorithm that so they don't have their champion like a dungeon coach. They don't have some champions. They have like this guy Polyhedron, and that's why I started talking about it, because I watched one of his videos today, and he has some amazing points. He's very spicy, and he has some very spicy takes, and he said the exact same thing that you did. Why aren't people talking about this? D&D Killer, 13th Age already killed D&D for him, right? But they don't have that push. They don't have that connection. They don't have the community. It could change, but
they need a paladin.
You need a paladin. You needed a paladin.
Matt says, Matt says that we're never going to make a game system, but I'm going to say I don't know that that's true. Matt doesn't like to. Matt loves to tinker on things, which also breaks his brain. But I think I don't know. I'm not saying that we know how to build the better mousetrap just yet, but we have some. We've had some ideas. It's you know.
How about this for a segue, though?
Who knows?
If you would actually legitimately like to see a Pocket Dimension RPG, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but if you even an inkling of possibility, we have a Patreon that you can join. And
there you go.
And all the Patreon does is get us closer to this community. And all the Patreon does is help us do this more because we have day jobs like most of you do as well. And so the more that we can rely on this, thanks to our incredible patrons, some of our upcoming trip to Gen Con is getting subsidized. And we just, damn it, y'all. Damn it. Thank you.
Yeah, we can't express how grateful we are.
I mean, come on.
You're with us right now.
That's a dream. And also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, that also actually helps. We now have, thanks to y'all, we now have pennies of ad revenue coming in, and that's dreamy. Like, that's dreamy. So the closer that we can get to this being the full-time thing, and that will happen. That is going to happen. But the sooner that we do that, the sooner we can talk about a TPD RPG.
Yeah, sorry. So many people have incredible takes on what the TPD RPG is going to be. And the best one so far is, classes in TPD RPG are just all druids.
Yes.
I also saw someone said Cult of the Tentacle. I think DT said Cult of the Tentacle.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, guys.
Call of Tentacle.
Call of Tentacle.
Uh-huh.
I always feel dirty.
There it is.
Advertising our Patreon. But here's the thing. We want to do more. We want to play 13th Age. We want to play GURPS. We want to play... Oh, thank you, Tabletop, for the pocket change. We want to play Tales of the Valiant. We want to play, when it comes out, D&D 2024, and see how we feel about it. We want to do these things. But look... We only have the hours in the day that we have, and most of them are absorbed by day jobs. So
we're not complaining, but
we would like more time. Money is time, time is power, power is pizza. We need more pizza.
Hell yeah!
And
first you get the money, then you get the pizza, then you get the
power,
TPD RPG.
But here's the thing: we're not saying be patrons for nothing. We got stuff for you, right?
Oh, you get stuff,
You get stuff. You get monthly one-shots. Oh, thank you, Sarah Bobs.
Oh, my gosh.
More packaging.
I'm going to come over to your house and bring a beer.
Pizza.
I'm going to bring a pizza with that.
Oh, pizza. Yeah, because pizza's power. So we have monthly one-shots of where we play games. We've done a couple of Daggerheart. We've played Masked. We've, of course, played 5e. So we like to play with you guys. And also... coming out in almost 2 weeks, I am shitting myself a little bit, is the premiere of The Adventures of Bud and Herb. And Evan and I have been putting out bonus material, sneak peeks of things on Fridays. Did you hit publish? Is it published?
It's about to be right after the stream.
Great. So after the stream, if you're a patron, you're going to get a little present in your inbox from Bud and Herb today.
Such a beautiful present, too.
Mm-hmm. So we have things to give you for
do you guys
a few dollars.
Do you guys want to spin a little bit more of a tale about The Adventures of Bud and Herb coming in about 2 weeks?
What do you want to know about it, brother?
What I hear is that it's a new podcast put out by The Pocket Dimension.
It is.
But it
sure is.
It's not like the other podcast, ADHD 20, not at all. What is it?
No.
What is it about?
not only is it not like ADHD 20, it's not simply an audio drama, and it's not just an actual play. In fact, Fitz, what is it?
It's 1 part audio drama, 1 part actual play.
Oh my God.
Both. 2 great tastes.
So I came up with a new tagline today, which was
hit us.
Which is it's not really a tagline, but it was kind of like I was trying to think of, if we had a mission statement, what would it be? And that is, we want to trick you into falling in love with our characters and then leaving their fates up to the dice.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Bud and Herb is.
That would be a trick.
The first half of the season is, mostly written and performed, and then the second half of the season is going to be completely up to the dice.
Yeah, that is.
So,
has anybody done that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Not that I've heard of it. If they have, let us know.
Please let us
but
know.
not that I'm aware.
Yeah.
No, it is a brilliant idea.
We can't wait to share this with you
We can't wait to
guys.
break your hearts.
Yeah.
Hate to break your heart, but a man gotta dance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Patreon's members above Feywild, is it Feywild and above?
So if
get
you're
ready.
At the $5 tier, I believe, is Feywild. Because we do have
Get
a
ready
$2
for
tier, but $5 and above, you get something.
Oh, you're gonna get some joy in your eyeballs in a few minutes.
It's
some
so
tasty
cool.
joy.
What is especially joyful about it? Who designed this poster?
Well, we actually hadn't said what it was that was going to go out there, but but now that we'll entice people to join. Yeah. So what it is, we're releasing the official poster art for season 1.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Bud and Herb, illustrated by one of our favorite comic artists. Her name is Bridget Connell. There will be links in the Patreon post to go to her Instagram, to go to her website, please go buy her stuff. She's amazing. Go buy her books. She illustrates for Dark Horse Comics, namely Lady Baltimore. I think she's done the entire series up till now. So, and she's just so freaking cool. She's just so nice.
Just put the link in the chat.
If she still has any more for D&D folks, if she's got any more of those BG3 stickers, they're friggin' incredible.
She does. She does. They're for sale on her website. Go buy them. They're not even that much. Just go, and they're freaking gorgeous. She's one of us. She is also a D&D nerd, which I think when I asked her to do it was a big part of why she said yes. I think if she didn't, she's a critter,
she's busy.
All of that. Well, she's super busy, but she's definitely down to clown on some D&D stuff. Yeah. So go. You're gonna get that poster in your eyeballs in a few minutes.
It's so good, you guys. It's so good. It's so good. I want to rage.
Man.
And on that note, we're over time here.
Just a little, but this has been a blast.
Last thoughts. Ranger danger. Would you play a ranger?
Yeah, I mean, for the same reasons that you've so eloquently said, Biv, I just love the idea. I may have to homebrew him a little bit. I may, maybe not, but just the tiniest bit. But I still love the concept. I think Rangers are just something special. I don't know why.
I can't quit them.
Yeah, can't quit you.
Look, there's a swarm keeper, so whenever I just need a little
bunch of bees.
I'm always going to be hitting a ranger.
Hit it.
That's just
hit it. Quit it. Oh yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
I can't quit it.
Yeah,
I just can't.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Well, Evan, you didn't answer your own question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did. I said
can't quit.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, okay.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Great. Sorry. Bye.
You guys. And that's a show. We love you guys. Bye.
Again, remember next time we're doing the live show, so we will just a little bit later, but we'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
See you next week.
Bye.